Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of One Pod Life. Now, Colton Alleyne-Davis didn't pick up a golf club until he was 15. He got the bug straight away, and after a slight career change, Colton went on to the Tournament Golf College in Plymouth and never looked back. Now a PGA Golf Coach based at Willingdon Golf Club, Colton is best positioned to give his free top tips on how any aspiring golfer can improve. We dive deep into each one as Colton explains how and why these are important. As always, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of One Pod Life. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so on any platform that you listen to. And if you can please go down to the show notes, there's a little questionnaire that would be great for you guys to fill in for me. And if you don't already, head over to Instagram and follow me at One Putt Life as I go through my journey to playing pro golf. But for now, please welcome Colton. Hey Colton, and welcome to the One Pod Life podcast. How are things?
Yeah, good, thank you. Obviously, thanks for having me on. New experience and everything. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Oh, well, thanks for reaching out and saying that you like the podcast, which is really thankful. And it's good to hear that you guys, the caliber of who you are, is listening to the podcast as well. So thank you very much.
No problem.
And yeah, like you said, your last 24 hours has been a bit hectic with things at your golf club, but possible excitement coming your way and some good news, hopefully. We'll see. But yeah. Sure. But for people who don't know who Colton is, can you just give me a history into how you got into golf and I guess your journey to now, really?
Yeah, I think my journey is probably slightly a bit more unique to most. So I actually didn't start playing until I was around 15, 16 years old. Okay. I kind of just knew nothing about golf when I was younger, had no one playing sort of in my life. And I was at school. I did okay at school, sort of had quite good results. I was actually on study leave doing my mock exams for my GCSEs. Okay. One of my friends played and I kind of got bored revising and I basically tagged along with him, just typical driving range, pitch and putt. And that was it. Bug was got and just kind of grew from there, really. We had a local course called Beauport Park. Still go there to this day. My dad's a member. And yeah, it was great. I didn't actually get on the course for a while, but we was just up there all the time and just sort of a really nice family orientated atmosphere. So.
Okay. So you said there that no one in your life played golf, but you just mentioned that your dad is now a member at that golf club. So was he a late adopter after you started playing?
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll get into it, but I went to a university that sort of integrated golf into it, and he would sort of come down and see me there, and he does make a point when he used to say, "I can't believe I'm paying for you to go to uni and to do golf." He hated it, and then. Right. I think he kind of got the same feelings as myself. He kind of got into it and, it's my job and he plays more than me now.
It's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, like you said, starting at 15 is actually quite old, really, in the world of golf. Can you see guys that start at 5? And again, it is because they have influences in their life that play it. So obviously you coming across your friend who plays, it's just a bit, well, lucky, really, I guess, because now it's like you said, it's your job.
Yeah.
Does your friend still play?
Yeah, so he's moved away, and I don't really get a chance to see him much. But he actually had a little stint working for Golf Monthly.
Okay.
So he was very much golf orientated. Also, he just kind of never really got to the level to turn pro. He'll hate me for saying that. He's now the am in my pro, but yeah.
We're mentioning his name.
He's still in golf, and I'll forever be thankful for him and letting me tag along. So
good stuff. So it all started on pitch and putt. Like you said, you got the bug from there. What was the next step for you then when you at 15? Obviously, hopefully you did well at school, so you must have revised enough while playing golf at the same time.
Yeah. So when I finally got on the course, when people sort of talk to me about it now, and they're like, "Oh, you must have been sort of really good straight off the bat." My first round I shot 149, and then my second round the day after I shot 151. So, and I've still got the scorecards to this day. So. So yeah, it definitely wasn't a natural progression. But no, it really was because I had the bug. I threw myself in it. There must have obviously been a little bit of a natural thing to it. I mean, I got down to 18 in a year. I then got down to 9 in 2 years, and then I got down to 3 roughly in 3 years. So
wow, okay, that's quite a big jump.
Yeah. So, and that was kind of through, I went sixth form, did my A levels, etc., and that was at the same time I was playing. So,
okay. So when you was at school, before you started playing golf, what did you want to do when you left school?
I actually wanted to be a choreographer. Dance choreographer. So I'm music mad. You'll always see me with my headphones in. Everything to do with music. But I was a little bit of a larger boy at school, and I actually wanted to be a dancer, but I knew I was never going to be skinny enough. So I was like, how can I actually get into it? And I thought, oh, hey, I'll tell you what, I can just dance behind the camera. I can design all the stuff. So choreographer sort of came up, and so that's kind of where my A levels were going down. I got a little bit into dance, drama. I was very kind of that ilk minded, and then kind of golf really started taking over at the end of sixth form, and where I got a really good opportunity to go to college. It's actually based at the University of Plymouth, called the Tournament Golf College. It's actually a friend of mine who you probably know, Nicholas Poppleton.
Yes, I do know.
So Nick was actually there also. He was a few years younger than me. It's a great opportunity. Because I started so late, I was never going to go to America. It's not a regret, because it can't be a regret, because I never had the opportunity. However, obviously I would love to have done that. But no, the Tournament Golf College really gave me a good platform to kind of press on and just take my golf to the next level, really.
So, just going back to again, you've done your exams, you're at sixth form, you were thinking about becoming a dance choreographer. So obviously your curriculum at sixth form was geared towards that.
Yeah.
At what point did you then realise that, okay, that's not for me anymore, golf is where I want to go? And how did that decision get made?
It was kind of looking, I was although I was quite dance orientated, I really did, I love sport also. I was standard football. I actually played basketball for my school, and I played a little bit for the London Towers and the Brighton Bears. So I believe at one point I was actually the youngest player to be registered for the Brighton Bears squad. So that was like when I was 16. Don't know if that still stands, but I doubt it with how athletes are getting produced these days. But yeah, so I was always sport minded, and then just it really did grow on me. I was getting to that standard of golf that I was like, it's one way or the other. And did I want to go to university to do the choreography side, in terms of, what jobs could I actually get, the security side of things, your adult brain starts kicking in. And that seemed more of a dream than potentially the options I'd have in golf. And the Tournament Golf College offered me a foundation business degree alongside still, grinding to the goal of golf, really.
No, I like it. Okay, that's good to know. So you've gone to university. How long was that course for? Was that 3 years, or was it?
No, so because it's only a foundation degree, it's 2. However, they have actually, they've developed the program so much now. I'm still in contact with them, and you've now got the option to do 3 years. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I believe it's sort of like a top up. So it is now a full university degree. But when I did it, it was just a foundation. So it kind of, you could then decide what you wanted to do after that.
And what did you decide to do after that?
So I kind of had a bit of advice where I started so late. I had no sort of golf experience in terms of in the field. I'd not played in the boys' championships. I'd not, I kind of started breaking into the Sussex squad, which is where I'm based, towards the end of my amateur career. But I wasn't pushing for anything. England was just so far off the radar that I thought, let's go and get some scorecards in my hand that actually mattered, some sort of national stuff. I managed to get myself an amateur world ranking. I think we'd be here all night if we counted the number that I actually was. But
I was actually going to ask you, what was that number?
No, it was, I think I just about broke into the under the four figures. I'm not going to lie. I really didn't play enough. But I got to play things like the Welsh Youths, I think it's called, and the South of England Amateur, which is where I had my best result at Walton Heath.
Nice.
I've actually got a funny story about that, which I tell everyone. So when I made the cut, I actually played with Jordan Smith, the guy that's obviously absolutely smashing it on European Tour or DP Tour now. Sorry. And we're walking around, and obviously, you're making casual conversation. I can't remember how the conversation started, but he started telling me, he's like, "Have you ever tried this drink called brown cow?" I'm like, what the hell is brown cow? He's like, so it's a combination of Coke and milk.
Right.
I was like, oh, right. Okay. Like, yeah, like, no, never heard of it. Of course, me being an absolute sucker, go home and try it. And to this day, I remember, like, if that's going to be the highlight of my amateur golf career, the best bit of advice I get from someone on tour now, I'm not going to go very far.
Especially if you go home and do it straight away as well.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, I'm going to rethink the advice I actually listened to.
Yeah, filter some stuff out, mate. I think is the best way to describe that one. Cool. So you started to test yourself then, like you said, in tournaments at the amateur level. And obviously you said your best result was at Walton Heath, playing with Jordan Smith. So then obviously you're now a professional golfer. Obviously you're a coach as well. So again, at what point during that process did you then decide, you know what, I'm just going to throw myself in a deep end and just see what happens?
So coming out of the tournament golf college, I got myself down to +1. So that was going through that year of playing national events, and then I've actually finished the year at I got to +1.8. So I think at my last round I shot like 4 under around my home course, and it just snuck me into old money, like plus how you got cut.
Yeah.
And I basically looked at the subscriptions for the following year, and I was like, well, my membership's about to jump up like £300-400. I'm currently working for my dad. I'm like, do you know what? There's a job going down the road to be an assistant golf professional. It's what I want to do. I'm just going to jump in and go for it. Okay. And it's kind of like a bit of a tame way of filtering myself in, but I was like, I'm just going to do it. And it actually wasn't a PGA role. It was just they wanted a sort of someone in the shop of professional status. Okay. So when I first turned pro, I was just sort of what you'd call a touring pro, effectively. Okay. Really did jump in at the deep end. Okay. But we kind of go from there. That was on the 4th of October, which was my birthday. That was the day I said I'm going to do it. 4th of October 2012. Okay. I then played my first event on the 10th of October, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to, just again get my, just get in the field, get a card in my hand. I actually won it. Oh wow! My first event. So So
what tournament was that?
So it was a tournament. It was on the Players Tour. So the Players Tour, it was their first event. It's basically a mini tour. It was like the TP Tour. Okay. Unfortunately, it's disbanded now. So it's the first event. It was my first pro event. I teed off first. I had to wait 3.5 hours, and no one beat me. So I'm actually looking at it now. I've got the check, a nice big check in the frame. for $2,000 just sitting there.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, it's easy money, this.
Did you not check it then, or to cash it, or did you ask them to keep?
Oh yeah, no. So it was like a something they gave you as a bit of a
okay, fine.
yeah. But no, it was obviously that was the days of they just started doing backs. So yeah, that money went straight in my account.
Good. So yeah, so your first experience of professional tournament golf, you win it thinking, oh, this is easy.
Yeah. That was great.
Did you come down crashing to earth after that?
I'm sorry?
Did you come down crashing to earth after that?
No, actually. So that was the event I played at the end of 2012. And then the next event I played was the Sunningdale Foursomes with my best friend, James Doswell. So he had played in the year previous and his partner couldn't play. So we entered, we got in. Obviously, it's heavily subscribed every year. I think there's like 260 entries this year for like 130 spots or 128. However,
it's definitely getting bigger and bigger each year, isn't it?
Oh, it's crazy, But the caliber of player is outstanding. But yeah, so that was my second event, and we actually got all the way to the semi-finals.
Nice.
And we beat a registered tour professional in every single round. Even we didn't win comfortably in any of them. But I think I remember I think it was the fifth round. So it's actually the round before you get paid, I believe. We were 4 down with 4 to play, and we actually won down the 19th.
Nice.
And the scenes on that first green were absolutely crazy. Yeah, we were proper high, we were running around high-fiving, and then we had to kind of check ourselves and we're like, oh, we're at Sunningdale. Calm down a little bit.
Love it.
So yeah, that was my second event. And again, it just breeded confidence. And that was kind of that made me realize I'd made the best decision possible in terms of just getting out, getting some what I'd call work experience, getting that under your belt, and it's just second to none.
Mm-hmm.
It really was for someone that had started late and just not done that. So just kind of cracked on from there.
So that time process is probably looking maybe 6 years, 7 years?
What's that from
when you first started playing until you won that first tournament?
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I turned pro basically 7 years after I started playing. And then, so from picking up a club and shooting 149, shooting 69 around the London club, literally, it was a great turnaround. And something obviously I'll remember forever. That
definitely. Your main role now is obviously is coaching, but you still play on the side. Obviously, you're still trying to forge that pro tournament career as well. So, how is life juggling both roles? Obviously, because you work in down in Willingdon and everything. So, how does that work?
Yeah, so it's not. I wouldn't say it's tough. I'm quite an organised guy, so I love spending time with the members, with friends. I literally plan a schedule of now being a PGA professional. I can play in the region, and I play 20 odd pro-ams a year. It's brilliant, and it's great. It's great to play some amazing courses in the south. We play also a lot of individual events again around some great courses. And then, just making sure I've got a bit of security at the golf club, doing some lessons. I do some work still in the shop. So it's, all in all, it's pretty good. It's just about trying to stay level-headed and making sure you stay on top of things. If I was to get a little bit too one-sided and sort of going and playing, it might put a bit of pressure on things, and vice versa. If you kind of get stuck in the shop a bit too much or what have you, you lose the enjoyment a bit. So it's just keeping that work. Well, I guess it's technically work balance, not work.
It's not work-life balance for you. It's work balance. I like that one. Maybe I might start using that for myself. Work, babes. Work. Yeah,
exactly.
I love it. So obviously, like I said, I've mentioned it a few times now. You're half 50% of your role now is as a coach. Yeah. So obviously, you see multiple swings daily, different calibers of players and so forth. And obviously you go and play with other caliber of players. So I think you're probably best suited to what I normally ask at the end, which is obviously what 3 top tips would you give to an aspiring golfer? So obviously if you look at myself, this is exactly why I asked the question, because I want to learn from you guys to obviously push forward in my own career, playing pro golf. So let's start from the beginning. If you got your 3 tips, the first one, what would it be? And let's have a little chat about it.
So I think this is something that wouldn't have changed my career, but I think it's something that is so essential, and just surrounding yourself with better players, or even just good players to elevate yourself. Down in Sussex, there's we've got the likes of Marco Penge, Toby Tree. These boys have been absolutely killing it on the tours for a few years now. I played a bit of golf with Marco, not a lot, but enough to, if I see him at a tournament, I give him a nod and what have you. But they're, for myself, they're the other side of the county, so it's not like I'm rocking up at the golf club every day and we can go and play 9 holes, or we can go and do some practice together. And I feel like that kind of that element in my life just wasn't there. I had no one to learn from. I was quite a big fish in a very, very small pond at my club. I think at Beauport Park, I sort of mentioned earlier, there was maybe 2 or 3 of us under a 5 handicap. And then, so you get round to club championship and you literally like, not how many am I going to win by, but it's basically, well, once I've got past this guy, I'm on the straight and narrow. And then I moved clubs to a slightly better club. I knew there's more depth in the category 1, again, old money cat 1. But the same sort of thing, there was a dozen guys below sort of 6 or 7. There was no +3, +4, +5 guys I could stand there and compare myself to, and I can say, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And I've noticed that you almost, I play in tournaments now, and I realise, I'll look at some guys and I'll be like, you don't get starstruck, but you're like, oh wow, they've had this result, they've had that result, and then when you stand next to them, kind of like they don't do anything different. They swing it different, but they hit it just as far. They putt just the same. They do it, and if you see that at an early age, or sooner rather than later, I really feel like it makes you feel a bit at ease, and that you're doing the right thing. It's kind of just, like I say, it's just a bit of a settler.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that one, because again, through my work, now that I work in the sports marketing and sponsorship arena, and obviously through doing social media and obviously the podcast, I now am in and around more professional golfers than I used to be. I don't play with them as much, but I'm definitely in there watching them a lot, especially when I go to tournaments, even on the sort of mini tour level. And obviously I played 4 tournaments last year. Now my scoring wasn't great, but the people that I played with, one was a pro, a couple of were sort of elite amateurs. So that's kind of where I'm looking at and sort of gauging myself. And like you said, I stood there thinking, well, okay, they swing it differently to me, but everyone's got a different swing, so that's not a problem. But I was out driving them, and I was like, okay, that's good. Then once I got onto the green, I was doing exactly the same thing they were doing, but it was just the bits in between where I was losing shots. So I was like, okay, why am I losing shots? Okay, first of all, it's shot decision, probably me trying to do more than what I should be doing, and also, I guess, and also the manner in how they go about their game. Which is obviously the biggest thing that I noticed. And so I've tried to take that into how I play golf now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think, definitely on the right track there. I think, when you look at that, it is amazing, isn't it? When you do kind of look around you and you're like, it should feel like home. It shouldn't be something that you're afraid of. No. And the only way you kind of get that feeling is if you're kind of thrown in the deep end early and kind of realize that actually it's very easy to swim to the surface.
Yeah. No, and that's how that's how I do most of my things. I throw myself in and try and work it out once I get there. My girlfriend goes mental at it because even if we're planning something, I'm like, I'll worry about it till I get there, and then it just seems to work itself out because I have to work it out. So but no, okay, great. I think that I think I can echo that first tip. So that's wonderful. Next one.
So it actually kind of links into what we've just said, which is, I'd say, be your own golfer and just swing your own swing. And I'm sure you've heard that so many times. But I say it to my clients all the time, because they'll come in and the standard one is, I've been on YouTube and I've seen it, and it's like, but it might not necessarily apply to you. You look at other people. I want to swing it like Rory McIlroy. I want to swing it like Adam Scott. But there's something that I struggled with when I was younger, and it links back to when I was younger. I said obviously I was a little bit bigger. I'm very self-conscious person, and I then look at my golf swing and I'm like, oh, my golf swing looks like this, theirs doesn't. And you try and perfect it and you actually forget about the fact you're trying to hit a golf shot, not make a pretty golf swing. And people just get so enticed into that. And I think, again, another golfer, I know, David Wicks, he's a good friend of mine. He's from Hastings as well. He's a great advocate of that. He taught me that from sort of a young age, and he's younger than me. He just kind of he went to the States recently. Well, he's been out there for years, and he kind of said that when they're in America, they practice outside. They're just constantly worried about ball flight. They don't worry about what their swings are like. Whereas a lot of Europeans, because they're stuck inside so much, they're in studios, they're analysing videos, and they actually forget about the fact they're looking at the ball flight and they're concentrating on numbers and pictures. And, you look at who's tearing up, you look at the PGA Tour, and, in no disrespect to any of them, if you were to look at a golf swing, I reckon more than 50% of people would choose to have a Rory McIlroy golf swing to potentially a Matt Wolff golf swing. However, they both get the job done. Yeah.
No, 100%. And that took me a little while for me to understand that as well. Yeah. I used to, before I started working with my current coach, Levi, I went through quite a few coaches, but again, I was also watching stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
And obviously they'll tell me, oh, you're not showing the club properly. Okay, I'll go look at a video on YouTube. But I won't look at one video. I'll look at 4 or 5 different videos.
Yeah.
People. Sure. And I actually don't watch swing videos anymore on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm working with a coach and we're trying to work out the best swing for me. Mm-hmm. Yes, okay, we reference Rory, Adam Scott, like you just said, but that's because we're trying to work on a certain particular move.
Yeah.
That is specifically going to work for me. So no, I advocate that. That's their second point as well. So no, good point. So sorry, I brought another idea now, another question. Sorry.
That's all right. No.
So if you is what I was going to ask you earlier about your coaching philosophy. So if a client was to come to you and say, right, I want to become a scratch golfer.
Yeah.
How would you approach? And I'm sure you get these people coming to you at your course. So how would you go about talking to them about that, and then look at their swing, and what would you look for, or do you have a blueprint that you stick to?
No, so I definitely don't have a blueprint, because I feel like everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and if they're coming to me saying they want, let's say hypothetically we're going, right, we want to be a scratch golfer, what do I need to do? 9 times out of 10, they're at a standard where they believe is achievable. Very rarely do I get a 28 handicapper come to me and be like, I've quit my job. All right, we've got a couple of years and I'm going to be down to scratch. Like it just doesn't happen. So like 9 times out of 10, they're going to have tendencies, they're going to have traits, they're going to have patterns. And, I always look at what that pattern might be. So, someone might come to me and they've got strong grip, and you're like, okay, well, you've been grinding that in for years. So let's see what you do to get around that, and then let's try and make that as passive as possible. So effectively, we're just getting rid of at least a miss, or we know where our miss is going to be, why we have our miss. But also, I like people to understand their own golf swing. So, I'm not always on the golf course chewing people's ears off, like, this is why you did this, etc.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity for people to be able to go and play golf. Everyone hits bad shots, everyone. So it's nice to hit a bad shot and actually go, Colt's told me when if I've got a bit of curvature this way, that's why I did it. If I fatted it, that's what, they can just keep progressing and actually get the most out of their round. So that's kind of what I look at building on in lessons. So, blank canvases. Yeah, I do have a preference as to what I want them to do. But, that's kind of, that's very rare that you get someone that's not touched a golf club. So yeah.
As I know, I've got many, or still have not as many, but still got quite a lot of tendencies.
Oh, it's looking good. I've seen the post. That is looking.
I'm losing them slowly.
Yeah, no, it's looking solid. So.
I still get this over thoracic turn sometimes, where I lift my body up. But
the wall humping.
We're trying to get the core working properly. But it's coming on nice. So hopefully this year is going to be a good one. But we're only 31 days in, but I'm not actually played around a golf yet. To be believe it or not. Just because we've been working on these moves so much. So.
Yeah, no, they these things take time, and like I say, if you're gonna swing it your own way, you just need to create that pattern and just know what your pattern produces, and if you can keep doing that, there's no reason why you can't just keep pushing forward and get to really any level you want to be. Of course, there's certain things, if you sharpen up your short game and your putting, add that to a solid pattern. You look at that. There's some guys, if I pick out on tour, someone like take Noren, for example. The bloke hits it like 30 yards left to right, but he knows it's going 30 yards left to right. Add 100 yards and in to 10 foot, and you got yourself a tour winner. So. The third is something that I applied to my game when I was sort of late teens. So effectively going through the process of, late amateur stages is just train smart. Don't be a machine gun. Don't pluck ideas out of thin air. Really, if you can, get the best advice you possibly can. So get a coach that you trust. I think that's something that people don't do, is they hop around coaches quite a bit. And then it's very easy to get your thought process muddled up. So get someone that you can believe in, and even if it feels strange, if it feels alien, different, you stand there and you go, right, I'm going to do it because this guy is telling me to do it. And from there, at the end of the day, if you're not doing it, someone else is.
Yep.
So, and that's just what makes this game so tough, is there's so many people now that are doing the right things. I would much rather go and be on the range for half hour doing the right stuff than standing there for 4 hours hitting 500 golf balls just aimlessly. It's just pointless, really. So I've had a lot of people come to me. I do performance plans as well at my golf club. So, effectively, obviously being a coach, I do sort of multiple lesson packages and things. And I always build in at the end a plan for them. So when they go away, they are actually being productive. And you just see the progression straight away, especially like times like this. Like you said, did you just say you haven't been on the golf course yet?
No, yeah. So through December and January, we made the conscious decision to not play golf.
Okay,
purely
cool.
because we didn't think it would be productive because of the weather, and secondly because we worked on two moves, which is again the thoracic turn. So making sure that I'm not to overturn, or I've got a better position at the top, and also working on my hip movement and sort of transitioning my weight from right to left. Okay. So I've basically done that every day for the past 2 months. And purely, again, just so we can get that ingrained. We thought it was a good time to do it because, like I said, going out and playing golf in this weather, what am I going to gain from that? Probably nothing. So that's the reason why we've done that.
Yeah, no, so exactly. So sorry, it's kind of like the roles are reversed here. I'm not asking you questions. So, for example, you've been given something to work on, and I can probably guarantee that he's not just left you at, right, this is what you want to do. Bye. It's right, I want you to go away on this day. You're gonna sort of work on this part of your game. So you're working on, do you say the rotation side of things at the moment? We're going to work on irons today, right? Okay, we'll check that. Yep, you still need to move forward with that, but I want you to now go and apply it with your driver, and that kind of doing that format of training, you just get so much more from it.
Yeah,
so much more.
And like you said, going back to I'm generally there, at the range for around an hour.
Yeah,
maybe just a little bit more, but in that hour, I probably only hit about 20 balls.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I am, like you said, I'm practicing with purpose, and I'm actually doing drills. I'm recording myself, looking at it, making sure I'm doing it correctly, referencing back to ones that I know are good. Okay, cool. What was I doing right last week? Okay, I'm slightly out here, so let's get that back into position again, and then moving on. So, yeah,
exactly. No, and I'm sure you're getting yourself into a position now where when you don't do what you're supposed to be doing, the bad shot you hit, you can literally immediately go, oh yeah, link it back.
100%.
Come in.
I'll now go find my ball in the bush. But no,
it's it's winter, yellow ball time.
Oh yeah, it's a yellow ball. Yeah. Oh look, it's a free drop. Yeah, that'd do.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, Colts, thank you very much for that. Those going into more depth about those sort of things that people should be doing. This year yourself, what's your plans for this year going forward with your golf career?
So I would love to, keep pushing forward with, I look after the members at the golf club in terms of the pro-am side of things. For me, it's great to kind of play in that format. I do have a lot of individual stuff as well. Sort of as a PGA pro, we've got the British PGA Championship, which is effectively the biggest event we can play as a PGA pro. Was lucky enough to qualify for the finals of that last year at Slaley Hall, but that beat me up a little bit. So I want some redemption this year. Just kind of getting some confidence back in my playing. I haven't really played too much for the last few years, and I think just building a platform, a long-term goal for me would be, the dream of playing is obviously gone. However, we have great opportunities in the PGA to, sneak a DP event here or there. If you get through to the playoffs, there's a few starts there. You can get Wentworth, British Masters, etc.
Nice.
And then also we've got PGA Cup. Now, I'm certainly not of a standard to be playing in that right now. However, I'm 32 years old, and I believe that I've still got a lot of life in me, to kind of work towards something like that. And let's just see what happens. But you can only do what's in front of you, which for me this year, like I say, more rounds under my belt, throw myself in the field like I've been doing my whole life, get some experience, and see what happens.
Good stuff. Well, thank you. I think you definitely spurred me on again to just throw myself in the deep end.
Yeah, good.
I'd say that's my traits anyway, but I think just hearing how you've obviously done that yourself and obviously become successful is definitely spurred me on a bit more. So thank you very much.
No problem.
And thanks for coming on the podcast and giving people your story.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
This year will be a good one for you. And like you said, you can set yourself some targets for that PGA Cup.
Yeah, you never know. Watch your space.
Exactly. Thank you very much, mate.
Okay, thank you.